Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11, it's not what a piece of land off Hamilton Road in Alpena was originally intended for, but one church is happy with the new plan. Plus, the halls of St. John's Church in Alpena were bustling with people of all ages today for a fall festival. And if you haven't already, you better walk outside and shake your mailbox. We'll have those stories, plus your local weather and sports. WBKB News at 11 starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. Your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
A land dedication was held today where the new Living Hope Church building will eventually stand. Good evening, I'm Ashley Reed. Pastor Tad Martin, along with church members, friends, and family, gathered at the site off Hamilton Road by North Industrial Highway to bless the land upon which their church will eventually stand. Living Hope Church began in the year 2000 with 11 people. Currently, services take place at Diamonds Point, where the church has been located since 2004. The church has been in 3 different buildings since it began. Pastor Martin has been looking for somewhere to expand the church, which now averages about 240 people.
We've actually been emotionally full for about 6 years at our church. Actually, our church frequently is above 80% capacity, which is a non-growth capacity for a church, for an organization that works and operates in our conditions.
This new building will give the church more room to grow and the ability to help a lot more people. The land was purchased for $7,000 from Alpena native Leonard Dietz. He bought the land years ago with a vision to develop a Christian school, but because of limited resources and other schools coming in, he wasn't able to build the school he dreamed of. He has been holding on to the land and has denied offers from others to buy it. He feels like this church is just the right fit.
I'm happy with this. I really am. I'm satisfied.
Dietz is happy the land is going to something he feels passionate about. It is in high hopes that they will break ground and begin building the new church this spring. And the annual Fall Festival was back at St. John's Church in Alpena today. From 11 to 4, people could come partake in all kinds of fun activities. All areas of the church were bustling with people. The raffles were a big hit. There were games for the kids, wine tasting for the adults, and all ages could listen to the live music, play bingo, or sing karaoke. The church switched up the food menu for this year, adding a pig roast for dinner and all of the trimmings to go along with it.
This is the only fundraiser we have that helps pay off some of our debt for the building. So it's very important that people support us. We try to support other churches when they have theirs.
Reynolds says every year they hope people will continue to come to the festival. She says the turnout today continued to get better as the day went on. This festival is very important to St. John's as they try to pay off their debt. The festival usually takes place in October every year. Family members organized a black tie and sci-fi event that took place last night at Besser Museum in honor of Mitch Tolgetsky. Tolgetsky of Alpena took his life on March 16th at the age of 41 after a battle with paranoid schizophrenia. During his illness, he was very active in drawing. The art he left behind was on display for the event, telling a graphic display of his journey and struggle. Other artwork was also displayed from artists all over Michigan. In addition, there was food, prizes, music, and people to talk to. Tolgetsky's niece Megan Collins said while coordinating this event, she discovered that almost everyone she talked to had a relative or knew someone that had committed suicide.
It's hard, and if we can do something and raise money for people to have outlets and ways to get help, and then saving just one person is going to make the world a difference.
Family members put on this black tie and sci-fi event to raise money and to bring light to issues that many people struggle with. People paid $10 to get in the door between 5 and 7. All money raised from the event will be donated to suicide prevention and mental health research. Tolgetsky's sister Carrie Collins said there does not seem to be a suitable treatment for mental illness, and the treatment that is used now seems more like torture. Mental illness affects millions of people, and suicide claims thousands of lives every year. The Alpena County Road Commission asked residents to go outside and shake their mailboxes yesterday. Governor Rick Snyder officially proclaimed yesterday as the 5th annual Shake Your Mailbox Day in Michigan. The County Road Association of Michigan joined forces with the U.S. Postal Service in this statewide campaign. Alpena County commissioners say taking the time to tighten screws and secure mail receptacles now can prevent having to replace mailboxes and posts after the onset of winter. Although the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Alpena County Road Commission have policies in place regarding the replacement of mailboxes clearly hit by a snowplow, road agencies assume no responsibility for mailbox damage caused by standard snow removal operations.
The snow coming off the blade ultimately will hit the mailbox, and depending on the type of snow, especially a wet, heavy snow, the plows really are not going that fast when they're plowing snow, but they will take mailboxes off the post or knock the post over, especially if the post is rotten or not fastened down too well.
Record snowfalls in recent winters have led to an increase in the number of mailboxes damaged due to heavy snow thrown from passing plows. If your mailbox moves when shaken, it is an indication repairments or replacements need to be made before the onset of winter. Residents are also reminded it is a good time to replace or add reflective numbers to their mailboxes to allow postal workers and emergency responders to easily find their homes. And riders saddled up their horses and went for a trail ride yesterday at Luzerne Trail Camp to benefit St. Jude Children's Hospital. Saddle Up for St. Jude is a volunteer-based fundraising event featuring horseback riding to raise money for St. Jude's Research Hospital. Horse enthusiasts across the country can sign up to hold Saddle Up events to help fight against childhood cancer and other diseases. After seeing 4-H hold a similar trail ride years back, horseback rider Liberty Landris and a friend came up with the idea to try it for St. Jude.
We just get out here and collect some money for a good cause and ride our horses, which is what we do anyway.
While some people opted out of the ride because of the rainy weather, a group of about 11 people held strong and didn't let the rain stop their effort. Each person had a pledge sheet to get as much money in donations as possible. $35 got riders a t-shirt, $75 got them a hat and a t-shirt. Landris raised $174 and other participants hit close to the same in their efforts. Luckily, the weather cleared up a bit just before the group took off for their ride that lasted a little over an hour. Landris was pleased to discover the group yesterday raised $800. And coming up next on WBKB News at 11, a new billboard in Flint has people wondering who is concerned about the blueberries, and are we talking about the fruit here? Plus, the New York Stock Exchange is preparing for Twitter's initial public offering. Find out more when we return. Welcome back. In state news, a bright blue billboard on eastbound I-69 near I-75 in Flint has some wondering what and who is behind it. Differing opinions about what the sign could possibly mean. Earlier this week, someone posted on this bright blue billboard, "I'm concerned about the blueberries." Some think it's trying to bring awareness to farms, but is it? Michigan is the biggest blueberry producer in the state. So about a half dozen blueberry farms in Michigan were called to see if something is wrong, and apparently nothing is out of the ordinary. Assuming the sign is not referring to the little blue fruit filled with antioxidants, some think it might be a metaphor for something entirely different. A quick search online, you will find that the word blueberry is slang for several drugs, including marijuana, or there is another explanation that some people think blueberries refers to children. No answers have yet been found, so for now the sign continues to be a mystery. And now it's time for some of today's top financial stories with your Money Watch. Investors will finally get a look at some economic reports that were delayed because of the partial government shutdown. On Tuesday, the Labor Department will release the September unemployment report. We'll also get figures on home sales and consumer sentiment. The New York Stock Exchange isn't taking any chances with Twitter's initial public offering. The exchange will allow trading firms to conduct a dry run of their systems to prepare for Twitter's IPO next month. The New York Stock Exchange wants to avoid the technical problems that hurt Facebook's debut on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange in the spring of 2012. The glitches were a major embarrassment for NASDAQ and resulted in a big fine. Apple is expected to unveil a thinner, faster iPad with a fingerprint sensor this week. It's hoping the revamped iPad can breathe new life into its tablet. Sales of the iPad fell 27% last quarter compared to a year ago. The iPad is Apple's second biggest moneymaker, right behind the iPhone. GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan put together state and local gas prices. The highest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $3.58 at Standard Express, the exact same as yesterday. The lowest is $3.51 at Admiral's. Across the state, the highest price for gas in Michigan is $3.79. Once again in Grosse Isle, the lowest price for gas in Michigan is at $3.15 in Detroit. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Shannon McGrattan will be in with a look at sports. And is the sunshine we got today here to stay? I'll be right back with your weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us tonight. It is time now for a look at the weather. Today, the high was 54 degrees. The normal high for October 20th is 54 degrees, so we were right on for this time of year. The record high for this day was 82 degrees back in 1920. The low today was 25 degrees, getting colder. The normal low is 35, so we were lower for this time of year. The record low was 20 degrees back in 1944. Sunrise this morning was at 7:57 and the sun set at 6:40. Currently in Alpena, the temperature is at 45 degrees, but it really feels like 41 degrees. We have a 70% humidity. Taking a look at our satellite and radar, well, we saw some sunshine today, but looks like we have more rain coming into the area tonight that may continue into the early morning hours. Tonight, showers and a possible thunderstorm, low of 46 degrees, south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looking at tomorrow, chance of showers before 11 a.m. and then after 2 p.m., mostly cloudy, high of 52 degrees, southwest winds at 15 miles per hour, but some gusts may be as high as 25 miles per hour. And tomorrow night, a chance of rain and, yes, snow showers, mostly cloudy, low of 34 degrees, southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Taking a look at our week ahead in our extended weather forecast, I do not like what I see. Chance of showers and mostly cloudy Monday, high of 52 degrees. Then the temperatures start to drop. We have a chance of rain and snow all through next week into Friday. We're going to hit a high of 46 on Wednesday and then drop down high, only getting as high as 44 on Thursday and Friday. And now time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Sue Kelly from Alpena. Sue sent us this photo of the full moon on Friday night. You can see the light took over the sky. Definitely a cool sight. If you weren't able to see the moon on Friday, you'll have to wait until the next full moon in Alpena, which is on November 17th. Thank you, Sue, for sharing this photo with us. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email a photo along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. And now it's time for some of today's top medical stories with your Health Watch. Researchers at Johns Hopkins believe they may be able to spot Alzheimer's years before memory loss begins. This study found people with certain proteins in their spinal fluid have a higher chance of developing the disease. Scientists hope their discovery will lead to a test so doctors can treat patients early and possibly prevent the disease. A new study links moderate to severe psoriasis to chronic kidney disease. Researchers in Philadelphia found patients with a severe form of the common inflammatory skin disease were nearly twice as likely to develop chronic kidney disease compared to those without the disease. And severe psoriasis is defined as having 10% or more of the body's surface affected. A study in the journal Science finds when we sleep, the brain is busy cleaning house. Researchers took detailed brain scans of mice and discovered brain cells actually shrink during sleep. This allows the brain to clear out toxins responsible for Alzheimer's and other neurological disorders. Doctors believe the same holds true in people and are planning tests to find out. In national news, the two killers who escaped from a Florida prison using fake release documents made their first court appearance today since being captured yesterday. Authorities suspect they had inside help to falsify court papers and say it's just a matter of time before more arrests are made. CBS's Adriana Diaz has the latest from New York.
Now that convicted murderers Joseph Jenkins and Charles Walker are back behind bars, Florida prison officials are trying to figure out who helped them forge court documents.
There is speculation, an underlying speculation, that there was a source where for a certain sum of money that these documents could be constructed for $8,000.
Authorities say a close associate of Jenkins and Walker provided key information that led to their arrest Saturday in a Panama City, Florida motel. They are promising more arrests.
Obviously, we will be backtracking to those who helped carry out this fraud.
Close relatives of the convicts are not considered suspects. Jenkins' uncle picked him up from the prison, then drove him to see his mother and grandmother. He thought Jenkins' release was legitimate.
I was, saying this is a modern day miracle.
But now that he knows the truth, Pearson says this has been a terrible situation that no family should go through.
Disappointing is not the word, that the bottom fell out.
The Florida Corrections Department says it's already added an extra layer of security to verify the early release of prisoners. Adriana Diaz, CBS News.
Police say Jenkins and Walker were waiting for a ride in Panama City that was going to take them out of state. Sports is coming up next, and Shannon McGrattan is here with a preview of what's ahead to come. Shannon?
Well, Ashley, the Lions were back at home looking to keep their undefeated home record alive against the Bengals. I'll show you if they were able to do that after the break. Plus, I'll show you some Michigan players that set some big records in school and Big Ten yesterday. Stay right here on WBKB News for all that and more. We'll see you in a second. The NFC North leading Lions hosting the AFC North leading Bengals this afternoon. Detroit's coming off a big win in Cleveland last week and hoping to continue that momentum into Week 7 to remain undefeated at home. Picking it up in the third, Andy Dalton putting his back into it. Cincinnati up 21-10. 2 minutes later, Matthew Stafford showing he can throw just as well. Touchdown, Calvin Johnson. Lions down 4 at the start of the fourth, and Los Amigos connecting again. Stafford finding Johnson halfway down the field. We are tied at 24. But for the second straight week, Mike Nugent would silence the home crowd with a field goal in the last 5 seconds, handing the Lions their first loss at home this season with a final score of 27-24. Down in Talladega this afternoon, an uneventful Sprint Cup race until the very end. Rookie Austin Dillon losing control on the final lap, allowing Jamie McMurray to cross the finish line under caution, ending his 3-year drought after leading only 16 laps. Jimmy Johnson finishing today in 13th, giving him the #1 spot in points, pushing Matt Kenseth to close second, with Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and Jeff Gordon rounding out the top 5. Over in Boston last night, the Tigers falling in the 7th inning of Game 6 and unable to come back, ending their postseason run with a 5-2 loss. Max Scherzer pitched through 6 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs on 4 hits and 5 walks while striking out 7 batters. Victor Martinez was the lone scorer last night, driving in 2 runs in the 6th to give the Tigers the lead, but this grand slam in the bottom of the 7th will be what separated Detroit from a chance at a Game 7.
When you look at the series, is they hit a couple big bombs, and we just didn't quite do that. They hit a couple timely, 2 or 3 really timely home runs. Think of Napoli, Big Papi, and tonight, Victorino. Like I said, collectively, starting with me, the coaches, players, we just didn't do quite enough.
Down in Ann Arbor, fans were much more excited yesterday as the Wolverines won the back-and-forth battle at home against Indiana. Devin Gardner and Jeremy Gallen setting school and Big Ten records in the 63-47 win that improves Michigan to 6-1 on the season. Gardner ending the game with 584 yards of offense and 503 yards of passing, while also matching another school record with 5 touchdowns in a game. Jeremy Gallen set a Big Ten record for his first time in his career with 369 yards receiving for 2 scores on 14 receptions, helping Michigan take down Indiana at home for the 46th straight year.
I guess I could have never dreamed of playing a game like this, after such a tough loss.
As receivers, that's what you dream of, just going out and giving your all for your teammates and just making the best of your ability and just taking advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. And to me, that's what I did tonight.
Down in Tawas yesterday, the Lady Braves hosting an all-day volleyball tournament as their regular season wraps up in next week. The home team winning its first set against Augrey Sims in the 4th match, picking this one up. Kylie Gordon giving the Wolverines an early 2-set lead. Shyla Brink now diving to keep the ball in play. Tawas would be down 4 points after winning this volley. But Augre's Jillian Farver's 4 aces led to this block by Emily Jo Wright. Wolverines winning set 2, tying their match with the Braves at 1 set apiece. On the other court, Alcona playing Hale in its 3rd match of the tournament. The Tigers pushing away from the Eagles early. Cassie Carpenter making it 11-5 Alcona. Eagles' Brooke Johnson saying 2 can play this game, finding the open space to cut Hale's deficit to 4. End of set 1, Tigers using their passing game now to win set 1 25-16 as they go on to take set 2 as well, sweeping Hale yesterday afternoon. When all was said and done, Beaverton was the overall winner in Tawas beating Joburg in the championship game 2-0. And in junior ice hockey, the Alpena Street Cats getting their first road win of the season last night up in the Sioux. Sergei Dieve had 2 goals last night as the Cats cruised past the Firehawks, winning 5-1, and they lost on Friday night. So it was nice to get a nice win for them. First one on the road, and they'll be back at home actually playing the Sioux next week.
At least they got that win. A pretty disappointing, I guess, weekend for Detroit and Michigan in general.
Detroit sports did not have a good weekend with the Lions, Tigers, and Red Wings all losing. But hey, the Street Cats got a win.
There we go.
And you know, hopefully Tawas Braves, their soccer team, is going to be playing in district finals on Tuesday. So fingers crossed for the Braves. We'll see if they can
get a win too.
Yes.
Well, coming up next on WBKB News at 11, a funeral yesterday had hundreds in attendance, but it was all for a fictional character. Find out more when we return. Welcome back. The man who found the depth of his dark side while putting Albuquerque on some new maps received a real funeral yesterday for the death that ended his TV life. Breaking Bad's Walter White received his last send-off as hundreds of fans of the AMC Network's hit series gathered at Sunset Memorial Park for the ceremony. People came from as far as Canada and Boston to say goodbye to White, the cancer-stricken chemistry teacher who over 5 seasons descended into darkness and disaster after he turned to cooking meth to leave wealth for his family. The event organizers said this is what they wanted, people going to New Mexico, spending money and leaving it there, which helps people who aren't even fans of Breaking Bad. He said it's a good economic push and it was all for charity. It's estimated 200 to 300 people attended. Organizers said they mean no disrespect to those with real loved ones buried there, as all proceeds were destined for Albuquerque's health care, for the homeless, and the Albuquerque Community Foundation. Still, not everyone is happy about it. One woman said it was like a slap in the face as they remembered their little girl. She was not the only one upset about the event. One man has actually started a petition to have the headstone removed. And Shannon, they even had a headstone with Walter White's picture on it. They had a sheriff's deputy. They had women in black veils. So you name it, they had it. It was literally a funeral for a fictional character.
That's kind of cool, though.
I mean, it's cool, but I guess I can see why some people would be upset about that.
Obvious. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a fictional character, but I mean, everyone... I feel like everyone's talking about Breaking Bad these days.
Everyone loved Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so I mean...
I'm on season 3. I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so I think I need to start watching it during the winter months.
There you go.
Remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on more news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for your sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And if you're on Facebook right now, like us at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
That's all we have for you tonight, but be sure to catch Kelsey Fabian back here tomorrow morning on 11.3. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night.